Welcome to this presentation about Propay footwear. Here are a few scenes from the opening of the new section of the Propay factory. The opening was attended by representatives from around the world and were greeted by Robert Propay. The showrooms are very glamorous. The offices and workrooms are very functional, and there is plenty of opportunity for expansion. It is a tradition in China that fireworks accompany an opening ceremony. Propay is an international footwear brand designed for the more mature customer who may or may not be suffering from foot problems. The business was established 30 years ago by Robert Propay in Seattle, USA, which is still head office. In the early days, Robert was purchasing shoes from his contacts in Taiwan. Very soon it was obvious to him that he needed his own factory in the newly opening southern China shoemaking area. The objective was to control the quality and the types of shoes designed for the discerning customer who wanted fit and comfort. This was the era when athletic shoes were changing people's shoe buying habits. The shoe purchasing public required shoes that needed no break-in period and fitted well from the outset. Propay has a unique position in the international market, being the only branded shoe business with its own factory. All other brands are made in contract factories. Now we move into the factory and we can see the first step in shoemaking. The leather is spread out on a table for inspection. As you can see, what the operator is looking for are tick marks and other marks caused by barbed wire, etc. on the hide. Also, there are soft parts in the hide, such as the belly area, that are not suitable for shoe uppers, particularly in the vamp areas of the shoe. The vamp is the part you see when you look down at your toes. Note the pen used applies an easily removable aluminium colour, so the next operator is aware of the areas to be avoided. This process is very skilled and is the basic start to a good pair of shoes. The next process is termed clicking. The knife is placed on the leather and it cuts a piece out, and this segment will form a particular component of the shoe upper. The operator has to choose which part of the leather is suitable for the part he is cutting. He will look for the pen marks made by the previous operator and will avoid the problem areas. The object is to maintain the best quality and get as many sections as possible out of one hide. It is a juggling process between quality and quantity. Occupational health and safety is taken seriously in China. The operator has to hit 2 buttons at the same time to close the clicking press, for obvious reasons. Now we move to the upper assembly bench, where the staff assembles the various cut pieces. They apply numeral stickers to each piece, so they can be recognised as a complete upper, as the next process is the machine room. As the camera pans around the machine room, you can see the vastness of the area, with more than 300 people employed in this section. The dexterity of the machinist is amazing. They work at this rate for 8 hours a day, and considering the cost of living, they are very well paid. Watch the number of uppers being stitched and the stop-start movement controlled by the foot pedal. Now we move up to the making floor. This is where the shoe components are assembled and all the parts come together. We start by taking the lasts from the bin in the correct size and width to match the order that is being made. The last is the foot shape that we make the shoe on. The first process is that the insole is tacked to the last. The insole is the foundation of a shoe. The higher the quality of material used, the longer the shoe will hold its shape. The next process is that the insole board is coated with an activating adhesive. In this scene, you can clearly see the steel shank. The purpose of a shank is to offer torsional rigidity, particularly when the shoe is worn with an orthotic. The white leather upper is also given a coat of adhesive. At this point, the components are taken through a heater cabinet to dry the adhesive. Since it is a contact adhesive, when the two components are brought together, the adhesive will react and bond. You can see the components coming into the tunnel. This is the most difficult process in the factory as it involves a very expensive and difficult to operate machine. Note the dress code. Nicely polished shoes are worn by this very important operator. The upper is introduced to the last and both components placed on the machine. There are 6 sets of fingers that grip the upper. The first foot control closes the fingers and the second commences the pulling and closing of the machine. The machine adjustments are critical to this operation because as the leather and the insole come together, the contact adhesive bond the components together. This operation is drawing the leather along each side of the shoe with pincers. Note the shape of the tool. Again, the skill is not to draw the leather too tight as it will affect the fit of the shoe. Note the staple that secured the insole to the last is removed at this stage. As you can see, a machine is used to form the counter of the shoe. Again, a set of wipers pulls the leather down and across the insole. As the wipers draw across the surface, pressure is applied to ensure a good bonding. The operator checks the back height of the shoe to make sure they are even. Quality control points along the making track ensure a perfect shoe at the end. These shoes are actually being made for the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. This process is called roughing. The base of the shoe is sanded with a rotary sander to remove the top surface of the leather. Adhesive will not bond to the top surface, therefore it is removed. The operator uses a pen with an aluminium ink to apply a line around the shoe where the outsole will later form a bond to the upper. This line needs to be very accurate. As you will see in the next step, aluminium ink is used as it is easily removed. We now move on to roughing the feather line. This is a very noisy process and it takes a lot of skill to ensure the head of the sander follows the aluminium pencil line accurately. The operation is conducted under a clear plastic screen and an extraction exhaust system removes the ground material. The shoes and outsoles are loaded onto the conveyor that will take them up into a tunnel that is heated. The purpose is to heat the leather, which causes the leather to mould to the shape of the last. This is the process of applying adhesive to the lasted shoe. The adhesive is injected onto a brush and all of the roughed area must be covered with cement. The sole has also been prepared and the components go into another heater to dry the cement. Once through the tunnel, the 2 pieces are joined by hand and then put under the sole press that ensures a full bond between the upper and the sole. Once again, the shoes go through another overhead tunnel that has cold air circulating inside. This cools the shoes and completes the drying process of the adhesive. The shoes then go onto the quality control section and finishing. Here we see the final cleaning, trimming and polishing the shoes and the laces inserted. A solvent is used to remove any stains and pieces of adhesive. A final clear preservative lacquer is applied to make sure the shoes survive the transporting to world markets. A final heat is applied to dry the lacquer and a polish finishes the making of a shoe.